The day she left, she didn't even shut the door. Suitcases sat on the porch like soldiers waiting orders. Her family stood behind her, 6 of them, heads down, pretending shame while secretly celebrating. "I'm leaving," she said, "for good this time." Her voice was steady. That steadiness told me she'd already gone long before that morning. The taxi door slamming was the last honest sound I heard for months. We met 12 years ago, of all places, at a wedding. She wore gold that caught every flicker of light in the room. When she smiled, it felt like the world had finally chosen me. We built everything together, the house, the business, the plans. I believed we were partners. She believed I was her stepping stone. It began small, late-night work calls, a sudden hunger for travel. I didn't confront her. I watched. That's how truth usually shows itself, not when you ask, but when you notice what people do when they think you're not looking. The first real confirmation came when she slipped up and called me by his name. She froze mid-sentence and played it off, but that trembling pause said everything. She thought she was careful, deleting messages, whispering on the phone, leaving it face down. Patterns don't lie. I followed them quietly. A shared flight itinerary, hidden messages stored in cloud backups, photos, him, a man she once introduced as a distant cousin from abroad. Distant? Yes. Cousin? No. When I found out about the wedding plans, I didn't break. I smiled. In betrayal, there's always leverage if you know how to use it. I moved deliberately. First, sell the house. Legally, it was in my name. Years earlier, she convinced me to add her as co-owner for trust's sake. What she didn't know was that months after the first signs, I had quietly reverted the title back to me. Trust, it turned out, is something you can revoke. I sold the place through a friend's agency. Clean, cash deal. I funneled the deed and the proceeds into a company she never knew existed. Next, she vanished from our life, digitally and financially. I wiped our joint accounts, closed cards, liquidated a business she treated like her own playground. Every account with her signature was frozen, all done legally and with perfect timing. Then I waited. 2 months later, she left for abroad, with him and her 6 family members in tow. The plan was simple. Divorce me from overseas, marry him, then come back and live happily in the house I'd built. I received her divorce papers the same week. She posted their engagement photos. The irony was almost poetic. She filed for freedom right after sealing her own ruin. I didn't fight the divorce. I signed, I agreed, gave her exactly what she wanted, my compliance. But each signature I gave led her deeper into the trap I'd laid. Months later they returned, not for me, but for the house. They expected to see it standing. The white gates, the garden she always flaunted, the marble floor she called her empire. Instead, there was nothing. No gate, no house, just an empty plot, cleared, fenced, and marked sold. She stood there, suitcase still in her hand, staring at bare earth as if the ground had betrayed her. Her lover tried to ask questions while I watched from my car across the street. Silent, patient. One of her brothers called me, voice trembling. "Where's the house?" I answered calmly. "My house? You mean the one I sold 6 months ago?" Silence, then panic. The look on her face, confusion, regret, raw disbelief, is a picture I'll never forget. She realized too late she'd walked into the knife I'd been holding. Only I'd use it with precision, not hatred. She tried legal moves, claims of emotional manipulation, joint ownership, fraud, but her signatures were everywhere. Her approval was on each document, her absence noted during every transaction. She'd left willingly. She'd abandoned her claims in the divorce. She'd walked straight into her own eraser. The lover vanished as soon as he understood there was no money, no property, no future. She had crossed oceans for him. He couldn't cross the street for her. Her family turned on her, one by one, each blaming her for the downfall they had helped engineer. They'd all tasted the idea of wealth. Now they tasted dust. Last week she came alone. She stood at my gate at my new house, smaller but mine, and said, "I never thought you'd be capable of this." I looked her in the eye and replied, "You never thought I was capable of anything." She wanted to argue, to scream, to apologize, but the words fell apart. I could see the truth sinking in. She had gambled everything on a man who vanished and lost it all to the man she underestimated. She left without another word. This time she closed the gate. People say revenge is poison. Maybe it is. But when someone burns down your home, isn't it justice to hand them back the ashes they made? I didn't demolish her life. I removed myself from it and watched what was left collapse under its own lies. Now, when I pass the empty plot where our house once stood, I feel no anger, only peace. Because sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't what you take from them. It's what they lose on their own after you finally walk away.